IVM.
Welcome to episode 129 of the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast. I've got with me today DJ and Ashwin, who I think are both traveling, or one was traveling and one is. So why don't I ask you guys, how has your travels been during COVID? DJ, let me start with you.
Yeah, travels were great. I was in the Lake District, as you guys know from last week's episode. I'm back now in London. It was a good break. And over to Ashwin, who is the one who's actually traveling at the moment.
Yeah, I am actually traveling right now. It's been interesting, and sorry if there's any background noise. I don't have my proper podcasting mic, but it's been good. I mean, there's not a lot of travel you can do right now in these times, so it's been nice to travel a little domestically. I'm in South Dakota in the US exploring, went to see some Mount Rushmore, so a few of those things, so it's just been fun.
Can I just point out before we go back to Varun, you talked about a proper podcasting mic. For the first time in 2 years, Varun has actually figured out the settings on his mic, so we can actually hear him super clear.
Yeah, I hope all our listeners appreciate my nice new voice now that you can hear me clearly. But yeah, for all the listeners, I'm not tech savvy, right? So, but there's no excuse. I should have figured out the mic. Anyway, there's always something new you learn. So after 128 episodes, I finally figured out my mic. And that's why I've been given the privilege to host this episode. Also because IPL is coming up, and anyone who's followed us for a while know that basically this is what I look forward to in my year. So we've got IPL literally 2 weeks away. And what we're going to do today is we're going to do a little bit of a fun episode where we thought with all the IPL fever going on, we're going to break this down into 4 teams per episode. We're going to deep dive on each team. DJ, Ashwin and I have each prepared our playing 11s. But guys, this time I'm going to spare them. I'm not asking them to put their playing 11s on Twitter because we know they're going to lose. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little bit more fun where I've compiled the teams. We're going to discuss the squad a little bit. We're going to discuss probably 7 or 8 players that all 3 of us believe should start in the first game of the IPL. And then we're going to debate a little on who the balance should be. Remember, there's only 4 overseas players. So it's going to be a lot of fun thinking about, who those 4 players should be. And honestly, this is for anyone who's intending to play fantasy cricket. I think these next 2 episodes will be pretty good for you. Not to hear from the experts, but just to hear from 3 lads who follow the IPL a lot. DJ, anything to add before I start with the teams?
No, I enjoyed the bit where you assumed that you would win the Twitter poll. So thank you for sparing us. Ashwin.
Yeah, and let's for the record, he won by like 1%, and which is 1 vote I know you sent to somebody to get them to vote on your behalf. So I don't think that officially counts. I think I take the viewer's choice or whatever you call it, the Critics' Choice Award for that.
Yeah, you get the Critics' Choice Award. He gets the Campaigning Award.
Exactly.
I mean, usually I would say nobody remembers who came second, but because DJ's team was so bad, I think everyone remembers Ashwin came second. So, on that note, we're going to start, guys. So we have to start with RCB. I mean, King Kohli, I believe with CSK, with all their quarantine issues and COVID cases, I believe, and I think it was a rumor, that the first game was originally scheduled to be Mumbai Indians versus CSK. I think it's going to be Mumbai Indians versus RCB. Anyway, Ganguly put out a tweet today or yesterday saying the BCCI should release the schedule by Friday. So I think we're all eagerly waiting for that. But let me come to
Can I just ask a quick question? Our entire social media, our Twitter timeline stuff, people are obsessed. Nobody's saying anything other than release the schedule release, karo, this, that. People have gone mad. What are you going to do? Like, we know the date. We know the start date. We roughly know which game, like that there's going to be 1 game a day, Monday to Friday, and some double. Any idea why people are this obsessed with getting the schedule quickly?
I think it's because you can plan your IPL parties, man. Like, I've invited a Chennai fan for the first game. If he shows up here and there's Bombay versus Bangalore, I don't know if he's going to show up, right? So, no, I think it's just, to be honest, it's just more anticipation of people wanting to know the schedule when their teams play. I think, to me, once schedule comes out, it's kind of a sign that fantasy is going to come out. So actually the next 10 to 15 days is going to be exciting between thinking of the teams, who to pick, what fantasy platform to play on, which I guess this year Dream 11, it's a no-brainer for us. But DJ always seems to have some complaint with the official fantasy page. So let's see if he can find a better one.
Didn't you have the complaint last year because you were coming like last for a long time?
All right. We're going to save the fantasy banter for the next episode. But let me start with the RCB. So these are the 7 or 8 Bangalore players that all three of us had in common, right? We all had Finch, Kohli, de Villiers. We had Shivam Dubey, Washington Sundar, Umesh Yadav, Saini, and Chahal. So these were the guys that all three of us. So that makes up majority of the team. DJ, I'm going to ask you first. Both you and Ashwin had somebody called Dev Dutt Padikkal in the team. I've never even heard of him. Any idea how he is? Why did you guys pick him?
Yeah, so I can talk a little bit about Dev Dutt Padikkal. Obviously, he's someone who kind of came to prominence probably last year in the Vijay Hazare Trophy. He scored like 600 runs there from 11 matches. He then, in the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, he batted really well and he scored like 580 runs with a strike rate of 175.75. So the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy is the domestic T20 stuff, right? So I mean, he seems like a super prospect, man. He seems like the kind of new fan favorite and stuff. So that's why we've gone for him right at the top of the order. And I mean, love fresh faces, man. Uncapped player. Hopefully, King Kohli gives him a good run.
So DJ, I'm going to ask you. You've picked Morris in your 11, and so you and I had two people different. One was Dev Dutt, the other was Morris. For me, Morris personally, I think he has not performed as per expectation for Delhi Capitals. And so I was really put off with that. I expected a lot more from him, an all-rounder, a quick bowler and a batsman who can hit the sixes. He didn't perform according to my expectation. And so that's why I left him out. But DJ, do you think Morris is still an asset for the RCB team?
So tough choice, man. I know you picked Dale Steyn, right, instead of Morris. So
that's right.
Yeah, I left him out because of fitness reasons. And I mean, he's always had issues. He's a great bowler. I mean, incredible bowler. And we saw all those 10-year pictures and stuff, right, with Kohli from 2009 and Dale and Kohli from 2019. So Kohli loves him. But Morris, he gives that extra batting. He's decent with the ball. And I think the teams he's played for previously haven't utilized him properly. There were often, I remember games where Delhi Capitals would just leave him on the bench, right? Like he'd be waiting to come in to bat. We've seen him win T20 games for South Africa previously, although he gets the same criticism there that he's overrated and all of that stuff. So I think Morris is definitely an asset, and I think his price, right? I mean, the price that he commanded at the auction, I think that tells you the story about what RCB think about him. So I think he's going to start. Dale Steyn was almost an afterthought at the auction, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, it was a tough choice, but I went for Morris because he gives you that all-round option.
Yeah, and one other quick thought from me, because I just sorry to jump in. Morris was South Africa's highest wicket taker in last year's World Cup, in the 2019 World Cup, and he played the Big Bash in the 1920 season that happened in Jan-Feb of 2020, and he often batted at 5. And so sometimes it was 6, but that's an interesting way to potentially use him. Is do you bat him as a number 5 and just back him with the bat to be a finisher or off the innings? Just a thought.
Interesting. So Ashwin, I'm going to ask you now, you know, both DJ and I actually had Moeen Ali. And that was the one big difference between you, where you picked Adam Zampa. So talk me through that. Is it something to do with UAE? And is that why you picked him?
It's actually more to do with Kohli. And I think what's interesting for me is Kohli has been so outspoken about Adam Zampa. He basically said something to the effect of, I can't pick him, right? Which, I mean, we all know Virat Kohli. We know how he behaves and how he shows up in the media and stuff. And he has been so positive about Zampa as a player. And so for me, I think and then you add on in the UAE pitches to have Chahal and Zampa bowling with, dual leggies. Zampa's an incredibly smart cricketer too. So I think that's why he will just eke out Moeen Ali, unless RCB have a couple games where they realize they're short on batting depth, and then that's where Moeen will edge him out. So from a pure bowling standpoint, I think Zampa definitely takes the spot.
Fair. I think that's a pretty good point, Ashwin. And just before we wrap up, DJ, one last question. So both Ashwin and I had Parthiv Patel in the team. There was a little bit of difference where I had him opening and Ashwin had him playing at number 5, if I'm not mistaken, which to me is a bit surprising, because I think a lot of teams treat Parthiv like Narayan. I think we spoke about this last time as well, where you go out, you make a quick 30 runs and get out. It doesn't really impact the team much. But to me, Parthiv at 5 seems to be like 5 is a crucial position in T20 cricket, and I don't know if Parthiv has that capability. Ashwin, do you want to just comment on that? Did you take him purely because you were not sure if AB de Villiers can keep? And DJ, that's going to be my follow-up question to you, where you've actually not picked Parthiv, thinking AB will keep. So Ashwin, first you.
Yeah, there was a picture of AB in the nets keeping and that was doing the rounds and stuff. So that's possible. So yes, I left Parthiv in my side. So I don't think he makes the cut as an opener. I think they're going to try Padikkal. I think he's earned it. A young guy, potentially future star. So I honestly couldn't figure out who they play at 5, like which domestic batsman they play at 5. So there may be, with knowing RCB's history, there may be another young Indian batsman who slots in at 5 instead and AB takes the gloves. Otherwise, Parthiv is just incredibly experienced. I transparently think he's pretty useless down the order. He should be opening. So it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out.
And DJ, your take on AB de Villiers keeping?
Yeah, but first, can I just react to Parthiv at 5? That reminds me of like Suresh Raina at 5 as well. That was another conversation. Anyway, AB de Villiers keeping. Yeah, so I think last week we spoke and I was like, why are they making de Villiers keep? He's got a back problem and all of that rubbish. But then as I put this team together, I was like, if Kohli is going to open the batting for me with Devdutt Padikkal, I don't need Parthiv in this lineup because if AB can keep wicket, that's it. I'll bat him at 4, make him keep wicket, and that's pretty much it. And then I don't have the problem of 5 because I've got Moeen batting at 5 for me, and that was maybe there's recency bias, but boy, he played a cracker of an innings against Pakistan, man. He scored
but he's had like 15 4 innings before that 61 run.
Yeah, true.
Right? So that's part of it. That's part of the recency bias.
True. But exactly, and it's totally recency bias, but my man, you've got to back a player in form, right? And shit, he really smashed it. Against some serious bowlers as well. So, yeah, AB at 4 and keeping wicket, and I think that's what they're looking to do, maybe, to accommodate more bowlers. Because it gives them the option to play more all-rounders, more bowlers, and bowling has historically been their problem.
Absolutely. So, DJ, on that note, I'm just going to wrap up RCB. So, my take on this is, I think what DJ said right now is absolutely correct. They have always struggled with the bowling. They've got, quality batsmen, but somehow the bowlers let them down. Now, if I look at our teams, I know we've all picked Sundar, Yadav, Saini, and Chahal. None of them seem like bowling match winners to me, and I think that concerns me for RCB. That is part of the reason I've gone with Dale Steyn. I know, DJ, you said he's injury prone. Absolutely correct. I'm just trying to, I'm picking the 11 that I would put up on the field on day 1 of the IPL. And I think Dale Steyn is the only match-winning bowler in this lineuup. So for me,
Zampa, Ashwin's picked Zampa. Zampa's got like 6 for 12, man. But how do you get both
know you need to wrap up
in, right?
I know you need to wrap up RCB, but I said it's definitely unfair to say Chahal is not a match-winning bowler. I just want to put that out.
Fair.
Chahal is a champion.
Yeah. So you've got that, but I think actually the only rebuttal I'll have to that is that they've had Chahal throughout, and while he's won the matches, it may not be good enough to win a tournament. So I actually think for me the surprise pick here was Zampa. I missed that. I think Ashwin put a really good point. It'll be interesting to see if they play him and who they drop. I am personally excited about Finch for RCB. I think if he plays, he has to open. But let's not forget, RCB have always had that third batsman after Kohli and de Villiers, like a Chris Gayle. Very solid batsman, match-winning ability, but they've still not managed to make it work. So let's hope that this dependency on just the 2 key batsmen changes this year for RCB, and they've retained a very strong Indian core. So let's see how that goes, right? So that's our wrap on RCB. I'm going to move quickly to Mumbai Indians. And this, again, is a team with a very, very solid Indian core that doesn't change over time. I think this team kind of respects loyalty a lot. And so I'm just going to go through the players that we all picked in common first, and then we're going to get into some of the discussion points. So all of us had Quinton de Kock. All of us had Rohit Sharma, Surya Kumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya, Krunal Pandya, Pollard, Rahul Chahar, and Jasprit Bumrah, right? So if you think about it, I think that pretty much looks like the Mumbai Indians team of last year to me. I don't see too many differences there. Where I'm going to call out one name that I had that the other two didn't was actually Chris Lynn. And so, Ashwin, let me ask you first. How come you didn't pick a Chris Lynn in your team?
Yeah, I saw, again, maybe recency bias. Other than this last 1 innings, I've been watching a lot of the CPL, and he's been horrendous. He's just had a tough run. Then, not dissimilar to the question you asked me about pitch for Zampa, Chris Lynn struggles against spin, right? And so you need him to come in. You have to assume teams will play at least 2, probably 3, maybe up to 4 spin options in the UAE. And so that means Lynn is likely to struggle. And then, to your point, I think Quinton de Kock is a sure shot. Pollard is a sure shot. I would save 1 overseas slot for a bowler. And then, your 4th slot is either to Chris Lynn or to one of the potential finishing options, and we'll talk about it. But I had a lower order batsman in the overseas.
Yeah, and Ashwin, why don't you talk through your team then? So you had Shane Rutherford and Ishan Kishan in the team that were a little bit different to the rest of us. So talk us through those two picks.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that neither of you guys had Ishan Kishan. He had a decent 2019 IPL. He's a strong batsman. It seems like Mumbai Indians likes to back him. Obviously, he was in and out a couple of times, but so to me, he would slot in as your kind of somewhere in the top, somewhere in the 3, 4, 5 position, probably at 4. And that's assuming then Rohit opens as well, right? So if you have Quinton de Kock and Chris Lynn opening, Rohit has to go back and go not open again, which we just went through this whole thing where Rohit finally was opening for Mumbai. So for me, I had Rohit and Quinton de Kock opening. That allows you to play Kishan at 4. And then you need somebody to come in for that 5-6 mark and finish. And transparently, that's a weak spot for me for Mumbai. Now, you've got Hardik, Krunal and Pollard. So you've got enough depth there. But that's why I've slotted in Shafin Rutherford, who hasn't had a great time in the IPL when he was playing for Delhi. But he got picked up by Mumbai this year. And we know Mumbai has a history of getting unsuccessful players from other teams and making them succeed. So I think he'll do well.
Yeah, the complete opposite of the Delhi Capitals, who pick the good players, make them bad, and then send them off where they become better. So that's not a good track record we have. But DJ, just before coming to you, I'm going to say one big piece of news about Mumbai Indians, which I should have mentioned, is that Malinga has said he is not going to play the IPL this year. And so that is a big, big loss, not only for Mumbai Indians, but I think the IPL, because yeah, Malinga is Malinga. He's the king of the Yorkers. He's the king of the IPL bowling. So I think that will have a little bit of a mental impact as well on the Mumbai Indians. But DJ, when you sent me your team, you told me you're going to have Rohit and de Kock opening, Surya Kumar at 1 down, and then you've gone straight into from number 4 onwards, Pollard, Krunal, and Hardik. So do you feel like your team is missing that Ishan Kishan or a Chris Lynn type of player?
No, I wanted a mystery number 4. I told you guys. That's why I only had 10 people on the list, right? I want this guy called Prince Balwant Rai Singh at number 4.
I've never heard of him.
No one's heard of him. He's apparently an all-rounder for 20 lakhs. But in seriousness, it'll be Ishan Kishan. So, Ishan Kishan bats 4. Yeah, and he can keep wicket as well. He's a useful player and he batted really well, man. He's batted well previously. And everybody else drops down. So after that, after Kishan comes Pollard, Krunal, Hardik, depending on the situation, left hand, right hand, all of that stuff. So they can float up and down. And then I've gone for an extra, I've gone for 2 overseas. So I've gone for Bolt and Patterson or Mitch. So 2 of those 3 will play for me, rather than, I haven't gone for Dhaval Kulkarni, which would be the domestic option in that scenario. So I've got 2 overseas bowlers and I've got de Kock and Pollard.
Interesting. So yeah, DJ, actually I had picked Dhaval, and I don't know why I picked him actually. It's just that I feel like I've seen him play a lot of IPL. So I feel like
you've seen Ajinkya Rahane play a lot. That's why he looks the same. So you're confused.
Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like teams have an inclination to pick Dhaval because I've seen him play a lot of IPL. But I think, again, for the Mumbai Indians team, based on all of our kind of analysis and thinking, I just feel that their number 4 and 5 is going to be the biggest question, right? Because you've got a Surya Kumar Yadav who I think should play at 3, honestly, but you've got Chris Lynn, Rohit Sharma, Quinton de Kock all above him, Ishan Kishan who could open. So I feel like their middle order needs to just be settled a little bit. And I say that because you've also got Hardik, Krunal and Pollard, all who can play that role. So it'll be very interesting to see how this team fares, how they play without a Malinga. And yeah, I think that's it.
And
my only other quick thought that I just said is that I noticed while I was making this team is they're missing a third spinner.
Exactly.
Like I couldn't pick a third spin option. Exactly. You got Bumrah. Then we talked about Bolt, Coulter-Nile, Pattinson, and McClanahan as 4 overseas pace bowling options. You don't have an overseas spinner. You've just got Rahul Chahar and you got Krunal, who basically needs to bowl 4 overs of spin every game. So I think they're going to that's a big gap for me when they're playing in the UAE.
Exactly. So I was going to say backup spinners is their weakness. They haven't actually got a backup for Chahar and Krunal. So their squad looks good on the other aspects. Other than that, they've got good overseas options, good all-round options, but light on spinners, which could be crucial in the UAE, right?
Absolutely. That's a really good call out, guys, because the only other spinner I see in their squad is Jayant Yadav. And yeah, I think even in previous IPLs, even if he's played, it's not been more than 1 or 2 games in the season. So that's going to be a very, very interesting point. Unless Rohit Sharma decides to start bowling, which might help India, to be honest, I think you guys are absolutely bang on there. They're going to miss a spinner. So we'll have to see how that pans out for Mumbai. Right. So with that, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back to discuss KKR and the Rajasthan Royals.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Intel, for coming back to us. We love our sponsors. If you'd like to be one of them, do reach out. So really, really cool week on the network this week, right? Started off with a bang. Abhijit Ganguly was on Cyrus Says. Funny comedian. I think you guys will enjoy that. We had Dimant Parekh on Advertising is Dead. Dimant's the founder of Better India. Govindraj Athiraj is also on Uncle Please Sit this week. That's a really fascinating show which they talk about fake news. On The Habit Coach, there was a crossover event with Aditi Surana from Absolutely Right. I think you definitely enjoyed that. And last but not least, definitely a show I'd love you all to check out. We have a new show called This Round Is On Me. It's hosted by Gauri Devi Dayal. If you remember, Gauri and I worked on a show together called The Kolaba Cartel a while ago. Fun show. If you haven't checked that out, do check that out. But this is a show where she's talking to a lot of different people in the food space. Her first guest is Harsh Mariwala, a legend in his own time. I think you'll really, really enjoy that show. With that, let me get you back to your show.
Welcome back from the break. So we discussed in detail the RCB squad, the Mumbai Indians squad, and we're going to move on to the next, which is the KKR. Now, I've got way too many friends who support KKR, and so I hate this team the most in the IPL. But I have to say that their squad this year was very interesting to me. It was so interesting, guys, that I was not able to put the 11th player on. And that's despite kind of them having a lot of players in the bench. So let me go through the ones that we all picked. And in fact, to be honest, for all our listeners, this was the easiest team. All of us had the maximum number of people common, I think 9. So all of us had Shubman Gill, Sunil Narayan, Nitish Rana. We all went with Captain Morgan from England, DK, Dinesh Karthik, Russell, Sid Ladd, Kuldeep Yadav, and Pat Cummins. So I think actually, guys, this was one of the teams where, honestly, I didn't expect us to have 9 out of the 11 common. But then, as I looked through, I realized I can't see who else I would pick. So, Ashwin, I'm going to come to you first. I think the difference was you had Prasidh, right? You had Prasidh in your team and Prasidh Krishna. Talk us through him a little bit. I haven't seen or heard of him that much.
Yeah, I mean, he played last year, right? He's a pretty consistent early overs bowler. He bowls quick. He's got a decent outswinger. So he played quite a bit for KKR last year, and I think they liked him, and he added some good value to the team both early on and in some cases in the death overs too. So I think, especially given the lack of their depth in Indian bowling, and again, I think a lot of this depends on the fitness and health status of Mavi and Nagarkoti, right? Like when they picked up both those guys out of the under-19s team, we all thought they're going to both play, be the next stalwarts, and then they've just both been plagued with injuries. So if they're both there, maybe Prasidh misses out, but I think Prasidh has been relatively reliable and he's going to make his way in.
Fair enough. And so, Ashwin, let me finish with you first. So in your lineup that you sent me, you've got Narayan opening. Is that based on just CPL or is it the right move for KKR, you think?
I mean, I think they just go with it, right? Like he's either going to get you 20, 30 runs or not. He's been decent in the CPL. He seems like he's getting slightly better against spin, which helps. And yeah, I mean, they got rid of Chris Lynn, right? We already talked about Lynn. And so having lost Chris Lynn at the top of the order, I think they're definitely going to play him up top with Gill. And then you've got a Nitish Rana to come stabilize a little. I think the gap for me in their lineup is having given up with Thappa, they've lost that stable middle order batsman. And so that's where I struggle because like Gill can hit big. Narayan obviously is just a smacker. Morgan is a hitter. Karthik is a finisher. Russell is obviously a big hitter. So they've got lots of these big hitting potential players. So either Karthik needs to change his game and become more of a stabilizer, or they need to pick an Indian domestic guy to do.
Fair. That's a good point. I was thinking the same thing. DJ, let me ask you first question. Do you think this next 6 months could be crucial for a player like Nitish Rana, who, remember, we've talked about him before. He's always showed potential. He bowls as well. He bats really. I mean, I like the guy a lot. Do you think the fact that there's 2 IPLs to go in the next 6 months, could that be game changing for Nitish Rana to really prove himself and come onto the international scene?
So I think the trouble with Nitish Rana is that, yes, he's done well in the IPL. He's done well for Mumbai in the past as well. He's doing well for KKR. But our top order for India It's stacked, man. I mean, it's absolutely stacked. You've got Rahul, Dhawan, Rohit, Kohli, all of them gunning for those top 4 slots. And that's why this guy bats, right? So I don't think he's actually going to make it into the squad. I mean, there's lots of people ahead of him in the queue there, I would say. So although he bats 3 in my lineup for KKR, 100%. And he's the guy who can give you a couple of overs and knock the ball around and play that kind of anchor innings in the absence of someone like Uthappa.
Yeah, Varun, let me just say quickly, I disagree with DJ and I agree with you. We don't have a lefty and we don't have anybody who can bowl. And so I think India might if he does a good IPL, India will seriously look at him because of the bowling option he gives us for T20s at least.
Yeah, and remember in T20 cricket, India was trying out your Vijay Shankars, your Shivam Dubey, all in the last 12 to 15 months. So there possibly is a slot. Now, you could argue that Hardik Pandya hasn't played that much international cricket. That's why they've got in. But I'm pretty optimistic about Nitish Rana. I feel like if he can have 2 good IPLs in the next 6 months, you never know. He could find his way into the team. DJ, I'm going to ask you about 2 new overseas players that KKR have got, one of whom is, of course, Morgan, who I think is fantastic. And Ashwin talked about that middle order. Fair enough, DK may have to come up a bit, but to have Morgan and Russell to finish your innings off, for me, that's just fantastic. And the second is Pat Cummins. So DJ, talk us through a little bit about these 2 foreign players.
Yeah, so for me, actually, I'd actually got Rahul Tripathi up the top of the order, the Indian rather than the Nareen. Of course, Nareen is an option up top if they're going too slowly and they want an accelerated start and all of that. So I would start with Tripathi and Gill, and then Moggs comes in at 4. I mean, absolutely brilliant when it comes to playing spin as well, which is an important skill, I would say. And for me, the top order may be slow, but as I said, you can promote Nareen. And that middle order is just explosive, man, with Moggs, Russell, DK, all of those guys can hit big. We have Sidhesh Lad, who's like, he was in that Mumbai Indians documentary, right? So, good. Hopefully he'll get a game. But yeah, Cummins, I mean, most expensive player this auction, right? So again, someone who will definitely start. And I mean, he's done brilliantly for Australia in the last few years. We saw him in that India series as well. Can bat, can bowl, can field. I mean, that run out that he made Pujara at Adelaide, right? Everybody remembers that last over of the day. So great package for KKR.
Yeah, so I think KKR, I think they've got a good team. I just feel that the Indian fast bowling lineup is where they're going to be a little bit, fall a little bit short. And I remember, DK, as he was telling some of these bowlers to bowl from behind the stumps, was giving very specific instructions. Hopefully these guys have matured a bit. They come good, because if the Indian bowlers for KKR don't stand up, I don't see this team going very far. There's always been that debate, should Russell bat higher? Now, you've got Morgan and Rana ahead of him. Should DK, where should he be batting? Last year there was a little bit of rift between DK and Russell. So I think these things are going to continue. But yeah, if the Indian bowlers stand up, I think it should be a pretty good fight for KKR. I just have one regret of this when I thought about the KKR team, is that I didn't ask Danny Morrison when he was on the podcast to say Tripathi has come to the party. Guys, how did we miss that out?
You were the host, man. You tell me.
I was too obsessed with some of the other lines. I completely missed this.
Maybe you can just record it offline and we'll splice it in and and see if our listeners can tell if it was the real Danny or the fake Danny.
But Tom Banton as well, man. Varun, do you think he might come in over his captain, who he ran out the other day, by the way, in the T20?
Yeah, so we spoke about Banton. I think it's early days, right? And again, I think because they've got such great overseas players. In fact, when I was picking my team, I was thinking Pat Cummins, definitely the most expensive player this auction, but does he have that T20 experience? Like, I remember him, you even spoke about the Adelaide run out, and I remember him a lot more in Test cricket, having done well, and maybe ODI. So I don't know about T20 cricket, but you need him with that Indian bowling lineup. But I think Tom Banton will definitely play, DJ. I just don't know if he'll start.
Yeah, and the spot he'll take is Morgan.
At the time of recording this, it's an hour before the first of 3 England versus Australia T20. So we are likely going to see Pat Cummins face off against Tom Banton, and whoever does well is probably going to get an edge based on how their form is.
Yeah, and it'll be Morgan versus Banton, right? Because those will be the batting spots almost in some way.
Yeah, and again, it comes down to, I think KKR in the past, look, they haven't played Gill up the order enough. They persist with Narayan opening, which I think is the right move. But if you need to play Gill up the order, you need to open with Narayan, and you've got Rana to follow. Where does Banton fit in, right? We've seen him as an opening batsman. I haven't seen enough of him. Is he versatile enough to play at number 5 or 6 for KKR? I don't know. So he may have to adapt his game a little bit to be able to make a place in the team.
Yeah, great point.
Right, so then we're going to move on to our last team for today, which is the Rajasthan Royals. And again, similarly, a team where all of us kind of had similar picks. I mean, I have to state that this team for me has got the best foreign players, man. You've got Butler, Stokes, you've got Smith, you've got Archer, and now you've got Miller as well as Andrew Tye, right? All T20 specialists, T20 players. And I feel like it's going to be difficult to leave out any of these foreign players. But Ashwin, I'm going to ask you first. There has to be a typo in the file that you sent me, right? There's no Ben Stokes in your list. How is that possible?
No, that's not who I would or wouldn't play. He's 100% in my team if he's available. We know, unfortunately, his dad has been battling with cancer, so he hasn't been playing for England. So my assumption was he's likely not to be available. There's a lot of news about that. Has not been confirmed. So I built an 11 assuming Stokes is not around. If he's there, he is 100% on the side.
And so if Stokes plays, who would you take out of your side? So just for our listeners, Ashwin has got Butler, Smith, Archer, and Miller. So who would you take out if Stokes is there?
Yeah, I'd drop Miller in a
heartbeat.
I think he's been weak on form in the last little bit. I have him in at number 6. Stokes could play 5 instead and give them some options as well. But yeah, I drop Miller in a heartbeat.
Right. So interesting. Both of you had Smith in the team and I didn't. And just, DJ, I'm going to ask you about that, but let me just give you my logic first. I think this young kid, Jaiswal, needs to play up the order. I think you gotta give him a little bit of time. You gotta show a little bit of faith in him. And if you've got him opening with a Butler, that's my logic, right? I think he would be fantastic. I then think that, Rajasthan has got Samson at 3, Uthappa at 4, let's say Stokes at 5. And so for me, I actually couldn't find a place for Smith in my team. So DJ, do you think Smith deserves a spot in the IPL, in the Rajasthan Royals team?
So this is a great question. So when I was looking at the squad to put together this 11, I was like, Butler makes it, Uthappa makes it, Sanju makes it. So top 3 done, right?
Yeah.
Then I came to number 4. And then I was like, who should we get in? I was thinking Miller, right? Because he's that left-handed kind of big hitting guy. Then I looked at the price that Steve Smith is commanded. 12.5 crores. Are you going to put a guy who's commanded the same price as Ben Stokes on the bench? That's 3 times, remember, what Josh Butler is commanded in the IPL auction. So I was a bit swayed by his price, I have to say. I'm just like, if I paid that much for a player, I'm going to try and get my worth out of it. And frankly, I mean, Smith is a brilliant fielder. And he's a good enough T20 batsman. I mean, we've seen orthodox, well, I wouldn't call Smith orthodox, but we have seen Williamson do well. We've seen Kohli do well. So I think Smith may justify his spot, but I think he'll come under pressure from Miller if he doesn't perform.
Right. And so, DJ, in your opinion, then what are the watch out areas for Rajasthan? Because they've always had these big names, right? You've got opening batsman Butler. You've got Samson, who, I personally love the guy. You've now got Uthappa in the team. And although he's much older than he was like 5-7 years ago when he was playing match-winning knocks for KKR, I think Uthappa is a great addition to this team. You've got Ben Stokes. You've got the youth of Jaiswal and Riyan Parag. So, and then you got the pace of Jofra Archer. So, why is this team? Unadkat, of course, yes. Unadkat is part of both teams as well. And DJ, probably based on your thing, you picked him because his price tag is higher than.
He's also the captain, so yeah, he will play.
Oh, Unadkat is the captain?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that. Wow, how did I miss that?
So he will play. Plus, he's the top Ranji wicket taker and all of that, and we love him because he came on the pod. So
absolutely, yeah, love the guy. But where's the?
I'm sorry.
Wait,
what happened? When did Steve Smith is the captain of the Rajasthan Royals?
Is he?
He has been
that's
since
what
last
I thought.
year. There's no news anywhere. Unadkat is the Ranji captain, but I mean for Saurashtra, right? Like, but Unadkat is not the IPL captain. Let's get the record straight.
What?
Yeah,
it says here 2 weeks ago, Jaydev Unadkat to lead Rajasthan Royals in Steve Smith's absence.
Unadkat to.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't think
we'll have to get a confirmation on that.
It's from cricketaddictor.com, by the way, this. So maybe I don't know.
I'm also looking at cricketaddictor.com. So I'm not sure.
There's one source that we've never heard of before. There's no other news about it. And I think it's not crystal clear about, because of the fact that Smith is playing for Australia, right? That's in the UK. It's not clear exactly how long the quarantine needs to be in England, in the UAE, et cetera. So anyway, I don't think there's been a formal announcement that maybe Unadkat will wear the captain's armband for the first game or two till Smith shows up. But I think officially Smith is still captain.
Yeah, so that's interesting, right? Because in the debate we are having, if Ashwin is right, Smith is captain, or DJ is right, or Unadkat is captain, one of them has to play. So then the Smith debate becomes more interesting. But DJ, anyway, I'm going to ask both you and Ashwin this question. Rajasthan Royals, great team, solid performers. Why don't they win? What is this squad lacking that doesn't allow them to win?
So, well, they won the first one, right, under Shane Warne. So, but since then...
Yeah, but that's like a long time back.
Yeah.
Talking about recent,
Yeah, but this squad, their middle order, I've got Yashasvi Jaiswal and Riyan Parag in there. And even Manan Vora, right? They've got these big marquee signings, right? They're dependent on a few big players. But around them, they've got all these kind of smaller players. And I think those guys really need to stand up. I mean, the first year, remember, their domestic players included Ravindra Jadeja, Yusuf Pathan. Those are the guys that stood up and helped them win. And I think their middle order is going to be a challenge for them. They've got Butler, Uttapad, Sanju, Smith, Stokes if he's available. But then after that, it gets really thin. Like Riyan Parag, we saw a little bit of him last year. Looked like a good player. Yashasvi Jaiswal, he may bat up the order. I don't know. He may bat lower, but he's an all-rounder, can bowl as well. So he may bat 6 or 7. Youngster. So there's a little bit of an experience there, I think. And I mean, they've also had bad luck in the past, right? Like Mumbai chased that incredible 190 in 13 overs and hit that last ball 6 from Tare. And I mean, even Rahul Dravid threw his cap in frustration. So they've had a bit of bad luck, but all good IPL drama. So I think their weakness is dependent on a few big players and middle order inexperience.
Right. And Ashwin, just to wrap up Rajasthan Royals, give me your take on the team, their strengths, their weaknesses. Where do they go wrong?
Yeah, I mostly agree with DJ. I think domestic players, I actually struggled to pick the 7th Indian. I'm thinking, okay, you have Jaiswal, you have Riyan Parag, you've now got Markande, who was good in his first year with Mumbai, but then week after that, or had a week 2019. So I hope he performs, I think, exactly as you started, man. Their overseas players are outstanding. Butler, Smith, Archer, and then Stokes, obviously, if he's there, unreal. But the Indian guys need to step up a little bit. What's new that we didn't really talk is Uthappa coming in. So he's a little bit on the nearer the end of his career than the beginning, shall we say, but an outstanding cricketer with an amazing IPL brain and amazing IPL record. So if he steps up and anchors the middle order for them, he could be a really strong add.
And who's going to keep wicket for them? Is it Butler, Uthappa, or Sanju? Which one of them?
Definitely not Uthappa in those. So I think they'll decide between Butler and Samson.
Yeah, agree. Well, guys, that was fun, man. There was not much fighting. We all got common picks. We discussed and debated nicely. So that was good fun, actually. So for our listeners, next week we're going to be discussing the balance 4 teams. And let me see if I can remember all. Chennai Super Kings, Delhi Capitals, DJ help me out.
Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Kings 11 Punjab.
And Kings 11 Punjab. There you have it.
You didn't even get 3 of the 4. Come on.
I actually thought I was going to get 3 and I was going to ask you guys for help for the 4th.
This is a guy who waits the whole year to watch IPL. Every year. All international matches are warm up for IPL. But ask him to name 8 teams. No chance.
The same 8 teams. This is the original 8 teams, by the way, that have played. There's no Gujarat and Pune and any of the crap.
We should do an IPL quiz for Varun at some point. Test his memory.
Are you telling me Kohli has never forgotten a player's name at the toss when asked who's playing for you? I mean, it's like that. Sometimes you're just so excited that you can't remember. But I'm not going to rename those 4 teams, guys. Ashwin and DJ helped me out. So we're going to discuss those 4 teams. And yeah, I mean, I think let's hope that the IPL goes off smoothly. I mean, just in the last week alone, we know that Malinga is not going to be playing. We know that Raina is not playing. I think today we got news that Harbhajan Singh has also dropped out. So Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are judging these guys. Why aren't you playing? Why aren't you coming? Look, it's an unprecedented time. It's a global pandemic. You got to feel for somebody who's not comfortable doing it. They've all stated family and personal reasons. But, I mean, as cricket and IPL fans, let's just hope that everyone stays safe and the game goes on. So, guys, we'll see you next week, discuss the Balance 4 team, and then just 1 week to go from then for IPL. So I can't wait.
Yeah, and
thanks,
Varun,
everyone.
Are you joining the Discord channel, by the way?
Yeah, I probably by episode 260, once I figured out my mic.
Figure out how to download the app.
Absolutely.
But for those of you on Discord, I mean, we're having a great chat there, man. This is a great little platform, Ashwin.
Yeah, so how do we send a link to people who are listening to us but aren't on Twitter? Like, if you listen to the show and would like to join, great community of cricket fans chatting, check out our Twitter page. We'll put it in there, I guess. That's the easiest way.
Yeah, we can put it in the show notes as well.
And we can put it in the show notes. So join our Discord channel, and by the IPL, I expect that'll ramp up, and there'll be lots of great conversation during the games.
Awesome.
And DJ, as soon as the fantasy is up, we'll be announcing that as well, right? We're going to have a listeners' cricket fantasy.
Yeah. The league will be up. We'll put links to that on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the show notes and everything. So guys, get involved, man. IPL's coming. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Awesome. So see you guys next week for CSK, Delhi, Punjab, and Hyderabad. Yes,
He's written
I got
them
all
down.
4.
He wrote it down for sure.
100%.
Have you ever wondered how successful people do their thing? How do they navigate the challenges they often face? Are you wondering about the future of restaurants, film, education, technology, and everything else in between? Hi, I'm Gauri Devidayal, best known for being one of the brains behind The Table, an award-winning restaurant in Bombay. One thing my life as a restaurateur has given me is the opportunity to meet with some truly inspiring people, most often just by chatting with strangers at the community table. And that's what this podcast is about. It's about learning the new dimensions of business and understanding how different people swim this sea. It's an opportunity for me to pick their brains and ask them all the questions on my mind, whether it's about learning from their past experiences or talking about future trends. Through their journeys, stories, and insights, I hope you too, like me, will come away inspired and energized. So come, join me every Wednesday with your favorite drink, because this round is on me.
Hi, my name is Anupam Gupta. I'm B50 on Twitter. I am the host of Paisa Vaisa, the show that talks money. On my show, I speak to experts from every field of money and finance, from stock markets, equities, debt funds, credit cards, life insurance, every possible area of money and finance that you can think of. We even did an episode on cryptocurrency. I've got fantastic guests from mutual funds to personal finance experts everywhere. Robo-advisory, startups, just name it, we've got it. At Paisa Vaisa, we help you make smart decisions about money. You work hard for money. Now make your money work hard for you. New episodes out every Monday, and you can listen to my show on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you have.